Welcome one and all, my name is Tawess and today we are back. I know, uploads right now are really spotty, but because life is kinda spotty right now. Not in a bad way, it's just a lot to do. So, today we're painting a guillotine, if I'm remembering correctly, in the colors of one of the warrior houses of House Liao. I would say House Imara, but I'm actually have to look that up. If you give me 1 second. I know I should have done this before I started recording, but you know. Let's see if I'm correct or incorrect. No, it's not House Imara. Let's have a look. I get them mixed up all the time. Because they are Ijori, Warrior House Ijori is the design we're looking at. And Warrior House Ijori does have a khaki base with brown and greenish yellow highlights, so that's what we're going for here. You know my method at this point if you have watched a few videos, but basically I just slapped on a solid base coat, in this case a carapace brown, dark carapace, and then slapped on some bone color on top of that for a solid layer. We're going to layer up after this. This is still blocking a base color, so using any bone or khaki tone would work for this. The brown is a slightly darker chocolatey brown. Also in this case it was very poorly mixed, so it turned out really shiny. Not that much of an issue, it doesn't affect the rest of the thing, it just looks kind of funny when you have it standing there. So if you ever want to paint shiny paints, just don't mix the mixing medium of your paint into the paint fully and you get a really shiny look. Usually applies better than the so-called gloss varnishes. After that we go over it again, touch things up, and terribly sorry about the image quality. I must have bumped the camera while moving around, so for some odd reason the focus is now on the background. It's a really nice background, but it's not where the focus is supposed to be. Terribly sorry about that. So yeah, and the yellow here is a sort of mustardy yellow to accentuate this sort of greenish tint to it. And I think it's called like hemp rope or something like that, or my painter paint, but any mustardy yellow would do. Now, making sure that you cover all the bases in this case, and don't worry if you overpaint something, you can always go in and touch it up afterwards, because this is important. Touching up is important. And well, this was a good time to paint metallics before you start doing fancy things to the paint, because you do all the fancy job and then do metallics. Trust me, it's a lot easier to touch up metallics than a lot of layered fancy work, because you know that is just how things work. But yeah, just solid layer of a lead belcher in this case, Games Workshop's best metallic paint, I think. It does a lot of heavy lifting for you. It's a nice paint, simply. Now, this tool here is a panel liner fluid. It is an oil-based product that uses capillary reaction to pull itself into panel lines and stuff. Popularized primarily by Gunpla and model builders, which for military planes and stuff, to get into all these tiny lines. Works well on mechs too. I'm still figuring it out. It's a bit heavy-handed, but also, you know my style, I like the grimy look, and this does grime really well. So, pick it up if you like to. Mine is from Tamiya. There's a few other people who make them too. Doesn't really matter which one. You just dab it into the place you want the paint and it will act zuck. itself into, as you can see here. And if you get too much on, you can wipe it off afterwards or touch it up with more paint. Now I'm just going to go with the yellows again, just give them a bit more pop because they were a bit too dull for my liking. And the paint here is a mix of the same khaki color I used before into the yellow a tiny bit, just to brighten it up a bit. I recommend you try these things out on your own and don't just blindly listen to others. Experiment and find your own best way of doing this. Because not everyone mixes colors the same way. Some people can't mix colors, and then it's good to have a ratio recipe to use, but if you have a sense for colors, experiment. Try your own. But I think it was like a 3-to-1 ratio in this case. And just add more yellow if it gets too bright, a bit more khaki if it gets too dark, you know. Important thing is try to avoid painting into the recessed areas, because we want to keep the dark there. Otherwise we have to do the whole oil thing all over again. Not that it's impossible to do, but you know. Also, this is a glory shot. This is perfect. Right, the camera right in the way. But we painted the canopy. Anyway, quick paint job. And a little skiddy thing. And, well, that's it. Time for a little spin around, and until next time. Stay safe, be kind, and do play fair. Bye.